I'm George Flinn, and you're watching GeorgeFlynnCares.com. It's a show for you. It's about your health. It's about your finances. It's about your relationship. It's about you and your entire life. Today we're going to talk a little bit and tell some stories, a lot, about success secrets. And we've all heard of success secrets. We've all heard of everything to do with success secrets. And you've seen countless books on the shelves. And they promise you to solve your money woes and solve just about every financial problem. They solve your family problems. They solve everything. All of these books solve just about everything in your life. And there it is. You know, there's some good bits of wisdom in a lot of these books, but none of them surpasses this simple book. There was one book written back in, you're not ready for this one, 1937. This book was written in 1937, and it's a book, well, we're going to discuss some of it. It was written by a guy named Napoleon Hill. Now, with a name like Napoleon, he knew he was going to have a lot to live up to. But Napoleon Hill is part of the story. He grew up in the Great Depression. That was 1929, the Great Depression. And it gave Napoleon Hill an incentive to analyze, to find out what was going on, what made wealth, and what we needed to do to avoid that plunge into financial ruin. Because people were ruined. You heard people, former millionaires selling apples on the street. You hear all about the stories, and a lot of them are true. So the financial collapse of the United States in the 1929, the Great Depression, that's what we're going to talk about. But guess what? This is a positive message. And his advice, when he studied all of this, his advice isn't a bunch of equations or mathematical expressions or stock market analyses or manipulations. His main focus is to show us how to get over the mental mountains that we've built in our heads, and these mental mountains that actually keep us from being successful. He interviewed a lot of people. He interviewed over 500 of the most successful people that this country has ever known. His interview style, he got to go in and talk to everybody. And these 500 most successful people at that time, he found this same recurring theme over and over. He discovered the secret to their success, and he wrote a book. It's about 200 pages. It's called Think and Grow Rich. Now, you may have heard of this book. You may have read the book. And he tells you in the beginning, the secret to growing rich is probably on every page in the book. But I've read this book years ago, and I found it to be full of real, solid wisdom. And I follow it. He says, wishing will not bring riches. Wishing, just wishing for it, will not bring riches. But desiring riches with a state of mind that becomes an obsession, then planning definite ways and means to acquire the riches, and backing those plans with persistence, which will not recognize failure, will bring riches. Now that's a lot said. So we really should delve into it a little bit. Exactly how does Napoleon Hill, back in the 1929s, the 1932s, and the 1937s, when he wrote the book, how does he advise us to turn wishes into real financial success? First of all, now I'm going to tell you how to do it. And you don't have to read the book even. I would advise you reading the book, but I'm just going to give you the Cliff Notes version or the summary of the book. what I want you to do is picture in your mind the exact amount of money that you want. Don't just say, I want to be rich, or I want lots of money. I want to make lots of money. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. If you want to make a lot of money, you need to move to Denver or Washington. You say, why? Why? There must be financial opportunities in Denver and Washington. Yes, there are. It's the mint. You can go work in the mint, and you can make lots of money. And you laugh, and you say, oh, you got me. You pulled me in on that one. But I really want you to think about it. The rest of us need to earn money. So you're not going to be making money. I want you to earn the money. Specifically, how much money do you want? Specifically, come up with $500, $10,000, $5 to $6 million. What is it you want? You know, a guy came up to me the other day, and this is one of those stories, and he was asking for money. He was begging. And he asked me, and some lady was shopping next to, we were in a grocery store, and she was shopping right next to me, and he asked me for a quarter. And I didn't have any change, and she didn't have any change. And she just shook her head saying, what will he come up with next? Well, I said, well, as a matter of fact, I had $1. But he didn't ask me for $1. If he had asked me for $1, I'd have pulled $1 out of my pocket and give it to him. But I didn't, so I didn't give it to him. I didn't have a quarter. But if he had asked for $1, he'd have had $1. But he only asked for a quarter. So think big. If you're going to think big. Second, now remember, we're going to specify how much. Specify your goal. Make it specific. Second, what are you willing to give or sacrifice to achieve this specific goal? Time off? You're willing to give up that? Financial ease in the short term? Are you willing to give that up? A dependable income with insurance from your regular full-time job. What are you willing to give up? Remember, there's no such thing, really, there's no such thing as something for nothing. We see it in the advertising all the time. And I see it in the internet and stuff. 3 clicks, and you can walk around in your pajamas and eat breakfast and do everything you want to do. 3 clicks a day of your mouse, and you'll have income beyond your belief. Well, it's usually income beyond your belief, no income. You actually need to sacrifice something in your current lifestyle in order to achieve success. Now, I know that seems like bad news, but it's the truth. So be sure you're willing to pay the what? The cost. Pay the cost before you begin. And there's a little parable, and I joke around, I've got some radio and TV stations, and I'll go to a meeting and I'll say, in the Bible, it talks about radio. People look at me and say, what? It talks about radio? I say, yeah, it says, don't build a tower till you count the cost. And everybody kind of laughs. But what we're saying is, until you count the cost, be willing to pay the cost before you begin. And if you're not going to pay the cost, just don't begin. Third, set a goal date. When do you need the money? When do you need it? And once you set that goal date, write it down. Fourth, write a step-by-step plan about how to achieve your goal. And then, begin. Don't wait till you're ready. Don't wait till circumstances are right. They never will be. You'll never be 100% ready. You'll never be there. And your mind, your brain can just use that as an excuse. So start now. Fifth, in a clear sentence or two, write out a statement of your goal and the plan. Here's an example. I, state your name, will earn $50,000, $100,000 by April 15th, 2014. In new, say, internet-generated business or new local business by marketing whatever product daily by YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, emails, Instagram, and Vine. I will devote 2 hours a day, 7 days a week to this section of my business. 6, now post that statement on your mirror, in your bathroom, on your desk at work, on your bedside table, and read the statement out loud with belief. Make yourself believe it at least 3 times a day. Does it seem too simple? Well, it's just that simple. And yet, it's incredibly complex. Most people will hear that advice, and many, follow steps for a few days, but the majority will slide back into their own habits. And that is what separates the successful from the unsuccessful. It's like telling an athlete training for the 100-meter dash that the way to win is simply to find a way to run faster than his other opponent. There are specific ways to train and refine your body to run faster, but most people are not disciplined enough to make that happen. It's really the body that's the problem. It's not the body. You think it's the body, but it's not the body. It's the will that's the problem. The will. So, we want you to have riches take the place of poverty. The change is going to be brought about through your well-conceived and carefully executed plan. Poverty doesn't need a plan. It doesn't need any help. Poverty can come out anytime you want. Riches are shy and timid and needed a plan to get there. Are you ready to shake off that mediocre and poverty mindset and really push yourself to the next level? Well, ignore the message of most of the media, other than this, they want you to feel comfortable. They want you to blame someone else for your not reaching your goal. Everyone has obstacles in his or her life. Everybody. Fred Smith, he has obstacles. What separates the successful from the unsuccessful is their determination to climb the mountains and get over those obstacles. I really care about you, and you can see this or any of the other replays at GeorgeFlynnCares.com. Spell George Flynn, F-L-I-N-N, or F-L-Y-N-N. Either way, it'll go GeorgeFlynnCares.com, and you can get this or any of the other replays. And go ahead and text me, 901-483-7000. Let me know what you think. 901-483-7000. I'm George Flynn, and I really do care about you, and I want you to have the best life ever. Thank you.